Betsy, and today we have a fun video. We are doing another video in my 2021 mid-year declutter and collection series, and today it is blushes. So this is my blush box. There are a ton of blushes in here, way too many. So I need to declutter some of these babies, and I need to do it quick. So I have a ton of blushes. I like blush. Blush isn't my favorite. I don't know why. I own so many. Other than there are some that are from my favorite brands that I definitely don't want to get rid of. So this is all straight up blush. So it's liquid blush, cream blush, and powder blushes. This is not the mixture of blushes and highlights. I keep anything that's like a blush and highlight that goes in face palette. So this is all strictly blushes, even if it is a face palette. So first up, this is a newer one to my collection. My husband bought me this. This is the Vintage Lace Blush, and this is Intense Pigment Blusher by Makeup Revolution. And we bought this at Target, and so you can see these are the 4 colors that are in it. And they're not my favorite formula. One, there is so much glitter in these that I'm not a big fan. And like the packaging, that's what drew me to it, is I was like, oh, those are pretty because it looks like lace. But that glitter is like in all the cracks. So I don't think I will be able to just like, it will take a long time to wear away the glitter is the best way to put it. So with that being said, this one's going to go into my declutter pile. Because again, it's just not my favorite formula, and it's like, well, if I don't love it and I'm not going to reach for it, there's no reason to hold on to it, because I have enough makeup lovers in my life, or makeup people who will actually use it, that I will give it to. Next up, this is the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy and Champagne Blush Lighter Palette. This used to have like pink fuzzies on it, but I took them off. And I'm trying to remember what my thoughts are on this. So these are 4 shimmery blushes. And I think I'm gonna get rid of it. Even though I do like the colors that are in here, they are a tad bit shimmery for my liking, and they are a little bit more on that cool tone side. So I think that those are gonna go bye-bye too. Because I have enough pink blushes. Like, I want to make sure what I do keep are things that I absolutely love, and I don't always want to reach for a super shimmery blush like that. Next up, this is the Arthurian blush palette from Menagerie Cosmetics. So if you look at this, this has some very unique color toned blushes. So I love this, but one thing I will say about this palette is these shades in here, even though I just swatched them and it doesn't even look like that, when you use a brush with them, they can be a tad bit more intense. But I am definitely going to keep this because I like the unique tones that are in here. Because I don't have like a lot of lavender or purple blushes. I mean, I could use an eyeshadow. I don't have like a yellow blush like that's in here. On top of that, I do love the artwork. So that's all 9 of the shades. So I am going to keep that. And then I also love that. See how it says unbearably cute? The packaging, like the artist who does a lot of stuff for Menagerie is an artist called Puffy Gator, or this one says Puff Gator, and she is phenomenal. Like this artwork on here is stunning, and I would keep this just for that. But part of the thing for Menagerie is they use magnetic palettes, so if you take these pans out, they will come out, but these shipping from Menagerie can be expensive because the palettes are so heavy. And I think that's what I'm going to do first, is go through the palettes, and then we'll kind of go from there. Next up, this is one I know I'm going to keep too. This is the Moon Prism Blush Palette by Lunar Beauty. Now, these tones, some of them are a little light for me, like this one. Like you can see, they're a little on the light side, but the tones in this palette are beautiful. So like half of it's a little light, but the other half isn't. And Nadia can use the first half, and I do love these. Like that first, on this first row, even though this one's a little light, that shade Spacey is beautiful. So is Gravity. And I love, you know, a good neutrally toned blush. And I am so happy that's in my collection. It is not even funny. Okay, so next up, this is a small little mini of the Rare Beauty Their Cream Blush. One thing I don't love about the Rare Beauty Cream Blush, this is the shade Joy, I think. Does it say Joy? Caution Flammable. Flammable blush. I didn't know blush was flammable. No, this is Grace. So you look at it there, and this is like an ultra pigmented blush. I mean, and it takes some effort to blend out, and it is very, very pink. So I think that that one is going to go, because it's just not, yeah. I'm not a big fan of super bright pink blushes, and that is a very bright pink blush. Okay, next up, we've got, these are the Kaleidos Low Fly blushers. So we've got this one, which it's almost like a shimmery blush and then a matte blush. So that is the peachy one. What is this one called? Lo-Fi Peach. And then we have Lo-Fi Rose. Okay. I think both of these are going to go. The shimmery side's really pretty, but I have highlighters that are that color that and Kaleidos, their metal tin highlighters, I feel like are better than these like shimmery blushes. The packaging on these is super oversized. It's super heavy. And the blushes that are with this are a little pale for me. So there's no point in me holding on to it. Someone else will love it. I don't think they're bad. It's just, if I had to choose like my least favorite product from Kaleidos, it would be those. So, next up, this is one I'm definitely keeping. This is one of the few powder products that I actually like from NARS. This is the Claudette Blush Duo. So you've got, this one is Corset, and this one is Ninotaka, I think is how you say it. This nudie tone blush is beautiful, and so is this peachy tone blush. And when you use them together, you can't even see those swatched on my hand, but on my face they look beautiful. So that is definitely not going anywhere. Okay, so here's something else that's not going anywhere, even though I really don't use them. These are the blushes from the Disney Designer Collection. So we've got Tiana, which is Kissin' a Frog. We have Belle, which the artwork on these is beautiful, which is Enchanted Mirror. Or no, this isn't Belle. Who is this? Was this Belle? Yes, it's Belle. Okay, sorry. The way that they're costumed is a little bit different. Then we have Rapunzel, which is Floating Lights. And then we have Court of Miracles, which is Esmeralda. I don't really use these. ColourPop really doesn't have my favorite blush formula, but the packaging on these is beautiful. They're Disney. I am not getting rid of those, even though I don't really use them. So, just so you know. And there are some things like that in here. Okay, next up, this is the Hourglass at Night blush. I love this blush. I love the color of this blush. It looks beautiful on the skin. That's what it looks like swatched out. But I am going to declutter it because I just don't want to use Hourglass on my channel until they change. And there's no point in me sitting there holding on to a blush, which will take, even though I like it, that'll take me 20,000 years to go through when I can't really use it, or I don't feel comfortable using it on camera. It is my choice to not use it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's a bad choice, I'm just saying that's the choice I'm making. And if you want to continue to use them, that's your prerogative, but I won't. Next up, this is the Royal Flush Extra Dimension Skin Finish from MAC. This is supposed to be a highlight. I use it as a glowy blush, and look how beautiful. That is a, you see it right there? Oh yeah. That is a beautiful glowy blush. This is new, this is staying. Next up, this is the Makeup by Mario Wildberry. I've used this a ton. This is like, okay, so you see it looks very deep, but once you blend it out, like, I love this blush. I love this blush. I love this blush. And it doesn't go, like, it looks heavy there, but it's really, really not. So, but we are keeping that one. Next up, this is the Fenty Cream Blush in Rose Latte. This is a beautiful nudie tone blush. This is more of like a balmy texture, so I don't use it a whole lot, but it does have a beautiful, like, neutral, natural tan kind of color. So that one's going to stay. But this one is going to leave. This is the Super Shock Cheek and Get Laid. I've had this forever. It actually has pan on it. But the problem with this is one, when you use a sponge with it, I don't want to have to use a special sponge. And when you already have your face makeup on, it kind of does this thing. It is a pretty color. It's just, I can't keep it clean without mixing my face makeup in, if that makes sense. And she's gotten a lot of love. And if you look at the edges, she's starting to kind of dry out. I've had this one for a couple of years. It smells like Play-Doh. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to smell or not, but she's going bye-bye. You know, I don't need to keep everything just because. Okay, next up we have the ColourPop Animal Crossing blushes. So we've got the Flower Tender and Flower Powder. They're both cute. They're both going bye-bye. I love other things from the Animal Crossing collection. The packaging is cute. I love Animal Crossing, but I don't need to keep blushes that I'm not going to use because ColourPop really doesn't have my favorite formula. Now these two are going to stay, and these are the blushes from the Mulan collection, and these are great neutral blushes. These are actually super duper pretty on the skin. This formula I do like. So you see what I'm saying? This could almost be like a highlighter, but it is like a really very neutral blush. And this one is even better. This one is Good Luck Charm. Like, it's my skin color here, but on the cheeks, it looks beautiful. So we are keeping Matchmaker and Good Luck Charm. Those are staying. Plus, as I said, I don't need a bajillion bright blushes. Okay. Next up, these are the Hello Kitty and Friends blushes from ColourPop. So these are from the winter collection. So we've got at Frost Sight and Bundled Up. So there's Bundled Up and there's at Frost Sight. So you see they're both a little cool toned and they're a little light, but they will work for Nadia if she wants them. Like, and you see what I'm saying? Like, this is the one from Flower Tender. Those are identical. You know what I'm saying? This one might be a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little bit more peachy, but not enough where I'm like, I need to keep all of you in my collection. I just don't. I have enough blush, you know, and I don't want, like, if I buy something and I try it, it's like some of this stuff might go up on Poshmark or whatever once people go through and like pick what they want. Oh, this one's pretty. This is Tearing Up My Heart. And as you can see, I've actually used this quite a bit. I wonder what this one looks like compared to Matchmaker from the Mulan collection. They're identical. So Tearing Up My Heart I mean, you see what I'm saying? They're pretty much, they're not identical, but they're close enough that Tearing Up My Heart can go if I want to keep the Mulan one. And that was a ColourPop blush as well. So the Powerpuff Girls ones, this is a freaking, look how bright pink that is. That one is definitely going to stay because I really love the Powerpuff Girls and I love the packaging on those. So both of those are going to stay. But we have two more from Hello Kitty, and these are from the new collection, the Aloha. So we've got, this one is Aloha Honey. That one might stay because that one's a little bit more unique. It's like a coral. But I think this one, yeah, this one is Island Shine. And if you look at Island Shine, which is on the pinky, compared to not Saving the World, Fighting Crime they're almost identical from that one. So I don't need that. That's part of the fun of sitting here swatching these, is it's like, oh, I know what I need and what I don't need. Now it makes it a whole lot easier to judge. Okay, now we're starting to get into some of the stuff that's a little bit harder. This is a Fenty Cream in Fuego Flush. This is an orange blush. This is not going anywhere. See, it really does give like this really unique shade. That one's staying. Next up, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic blush. Again, this is a nudie blush. This is a really pretty color. And this is the booby blush. That's what I always call it. It looks like a nipple. Tell me it does not. So that one is staying in the collection because Charlotte Tilbury is one that I do enjoy her formula. Next up, this is the Becca Snapdragon. That is a bright, bright blush. And I have other ones that I have kept that are this color. This one can go because Becca's supposed to go out of business next month. And it's like, would I want to keep a blush that isn't like sentimental or doesn't have a collector's value to me? That doesn't work. If that makes sense. Like, if I can't use it and tell you what it is, then there's no point in having it. Next up, this is the Monochromatic Blush Duo from Cover FX, and this is in the shade Spiced Cinnamon. It's pretty. It's not my favorite formula. There are other blushes that I reach for a whole lot more now. I used to reach for it all the time. So guess what? It can go bye-bye. Bye, bye, bye. Okay. Ugh. Now we're getting into stuff that I'm pretty sure not any of these are going to go away. Well, not all of the rest of this, but quite a bit of it. Okay, now we're getting into Melt. So first up we have Sundown, which is one of their cream blush lights. I will tell you, none of these cream blush lights are going anywhere. These are beautiful on the skin and they smell good. So that one is Sundown. Then we've got Sandy Cheeks. And I was scared getting these that I wouldn't love them, but I do love them, and I actually reach for them quite a bit. Not as much during the summer as I do in the winter. I do better with like these creamy products in the winter unless I want to set them down. Then we have, this is Honey Thief. This is a powder blush. So she's fairly light, but she's good for the winter. And they have the same one somewhere in here for the cream. This is Daydreamer. Isn't that pretty? But the thing is, a lot of times when you actually start looking into tones of blushes, it's like, wait, I've got that. Wait, I've got that. Wait, I've got that. Then we've got Golden Hour. I mean, you can see these have been used. These cream blushes go pretty far. Then we've got Lynx. Is this one of my favorite out of it? This is one of my favorites. This is like, and it's almost a highlighty shade, but Lynx reminds me of that cream blush, but creamier. That's Lynx right there. That is in the Natasha Denona bronze palette, I think. It's either the bronze palette or the tan palette, and it is beautiful. Next up, we have Honey Thief. So this is the cream version of that powder. So you can see up here, that's the cream, that's the powder. The cream is pinker, but we're gonna keep both. Then we have Polished. This is just a good nudie kind of corally, well actually it's not nudie, it's more of a corally pink. Corally pinks are okay. Nudes are my favorites as far as blushes go. And then we have Cali Dream, which is like an apricot blush. Again, they're much prettier, like when they're on the cheeks than just swatched out. But they are pretty, very, very pretty. So, now my hand smells like cake. Okay, then we have another Melt blush, and this is actually a highlight. This is the Genesis highlight. And this looks very close to the blushy highlighter that's in the Lo-Fi blushes. But isn't that pretty? I like to use it as a glowy blush. And if you actually look at, yes, this one. This is Buzzkill from Melt. This is part of their Royal Peach collection. So the two colors next to each other don't look very similar to the top one. But when you take those two, and this is the one I use the most, it is, see, that's it. Those two are Genesis and that is Buzzkill mixed together. They're very, very, very similar. I'm not getting rid of either one of them, but that's what it is. Okay, next up we have Queen Bee. I have a thing for bees, in case you're wondering. I love honeybees. I think that they're cute. So this is the Queen Bee. So again, these are a little bit more unique shades of blush, but when you mix them together, they're very, very pretty on the skin. And especially if you're going for like a really golden look, like if you're wanting to almost look like an Oscar statue, you can use those. And like some of these blushes, I don't use all the time, but I don't want to get rid of them either. And then last but not least from that collection is Raw Honey. And honey is very, very cool toned. But you see what I'm saying? They just look really beautiful on the skin, and then when you mix them together, it just looks like a beautiful, beautiful glowy blush. And I love all three of them, and they're staying. Plus, look at this packaging. Look at that with the little bee. Isn't that adorable? Yes, sirree. Those are staying. Now, if you're looking for beautifully intricate blush that isn't super expensive, we have Moira. So this one is Ruby Flush. I have 4 of these. So Ruby Flush is like this beautiful, and is a bright pinky tone blush. But these are staying. These are great quality and they're inexpensive. Then we have, this one is Orange Blossom. So that is a true orange blush. This goes really well like if you're needing to set down Fuego from Fenty. That's a good one. Then this one is Tender Rose. This is my favorite out of them. It's a more nudie tone blush. I like these super pale neutral tone blushes. And then I also Soft Berry for winter is beautiful, and it is a more of a purpley tone blush. Okay, went and took a sip of water because I started having a coughing fit, so we're back. Okay, so next up, this is the e.l.f. Putty Blush, and I don't remember the shade of this. Oh, Tahiti. So this is a cream blush, and I just got this one. I've used it once. It is beautiful on the skin, but I think I'm going to get rid of this because I have this shade in the cream blushes from Melt, and I don't need 20,000 creams. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself where it's like, ooh, blush, or ooh, this, and I'm like, oh, I need this. And then I forget what I already have in my collection. So we've got some Rare Beauty blushes. So we've got, first up, this is Bliss. This is what Bliss looks like. I think that might be a little too pale. Then we've got Joy. Joy is the one I really like because it's like the corally color. So Joy will stay. And then we've got Love. And there's Love. Love is that more neutrally red tone. So I'm going to keep Love and Joy, and I'm going to declutter Bliss because, I mean, as you can see, Bliss is very light. And because of the way their blushes have so much pigment to them, it's just not my favorite formula. Okay, next up, this is NARS Orgasm X. I bought this in a small size, which I'm glad because, again, it's just, I don't know, not my favorite. NARS doesn't have a whole lot, at least from like their powder product line that I'm like, ooh, I need you. I know I love their foundations and their bronzers, not their bronzers, their concealers, but so far with their powder stuff, oh, and their liquid lipsticks are amazing. Then I have 2 of the serum blushes. These are the Cheek Dew Serum Blush from ColourPop, and I've got the shade Cherish You, which is a very bright pink, but it does blend out. I don't know if I love the formula, But I think if I keep one, I'm going to keep one. And I think if I keep it, I'm going to keep the redder of the two. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So Cherish You's gonna go, Sour Cherry I'm going to keep. I wanted to keep the more unique shade because then that color is in my collection and I will more likely use it. Okay, next up, we got Mama Pat. Now, we all know that none of the Mama Pats are gonna leave, but I will show them all to you and swatch them. So, I don't have all 9 of them, but I have 7. So we've got first up, this is Paradise Venus, which is a shade I absolutely love. It is a good nude toned blush. That is probably my favorite out of the shades. Now, next up we've got Nude Venus, or is it Nude Venus that I love? I love that one too. That's Nude Venus. I love all these. And then next up, this is Nymphette. This is the one I'm wearing today. And again, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is a super light blush, but it does give you kind of a blushy glow without being too much. But sometimes those super light blushes can be too pigmented and then they're not the best. Then this one is Flirtatious. This is a beautiful color too. Again, the way that Mama Pat's is, it's just a little bit different. And these are expensive. These are like $38 each. Wait for a sale if you didn't know. This one is Love Struck. Again, this is not a color I wear very often. But if I'm going to keep it, I'm going to keep it in Mama Pat's formula. That's Love Struck. Then we have Desert Orchid. I love that. Maybe this one's my favorite. Yeah, I think this one's my favorite. They're all my favorite. So that's Desert Orchid at the top. And then last but not least, this is Electric Blue. Another bright coral. Look at this color, y'all. So those are staying. I bet you if I compared those to some of those ColourPop blushes, I could get rid of some more ColourPops. But I'm not. We're gonna leave it there. Okay, next up, this is, I got this one. This is the Undone Beauty Water Blush in Merlot. And so you look at the outside of it, you see how it kind of, okay, so you see how it grabbed like stringy? And it doesn't matter where you go, it just kind of keeps doing, you see if you look, you can see how it's got like these almost stringy bubbles of pigment in it. This was not my favorite. This one is going to go bye-bye because I don't want to have to sit there and work for my blush, and and I don't know if it maybe got too hot because I do live in the deep south. I live in Southeast Texas and it gets so freaking hot, and if it takes a long time in a truck, they can melt and then re-get cold and form back together. Next up, so I'm just not keeping it. This is the Patrick Ta She's So LA. I love this blush. I use this blush all the time. It is a very neutral blush. It looks almost like a bronzer, but it is the best blush. Both the cream and the powdered side. That one is definitely not going anywhere. See what I'm saying? That's like the best blush. I love that blush. I only own one of them from Patrick Ta because I don't buy, like, okay, so I don't buy every blush in every collection. I don't buy all full collections for the most part unless it is Melt, Pat McGrath, and ColourPop, because ColourPop's inexpensive. But yeah, I don't buy it for everything. Next up, this is Minted Blush, and this is in the shade Clay Too Much. This again is a beautiful neutral blush. It is probably pretty close to Patrick Ta, but she is staying. Gotta keep all my little square packaging together. And then last but not least is the Huda Beauty. This is the Thea blush. This is new. And I like this a whole lot if I can open her up. This packaging is a little, but look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. I mean, it's highlighter level shiny, but she's pretty. And she's beautiful on the skin. It's one of those that you wear whenever you're wanting to be a little bit extra and a little bit fancy. So let's see how many we got rid of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 blushes gone. So that is 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21. Nadia used to, everything was 21. And then 22, 24, 25. So many blushes. Why do I have this many? Why didn't I get rid of more? 29, 34, 35, 36, 37, 40 blushes. I'm not finished. I am not. I have 46 blushes, and that's not including the ones in face palettes. That's a little ridiculous. I do not need to buy any more blush. Y'all, if y'all watch Makeup Magpies and y'all see me talk about, oh, I need that blush. No, honey, you do not need any more blushes. I should not buy any more blushes. 46 is way too many, and that's after decluttering 20. And that's not even including what is in my face palettes, which there is a bunch. So yeah, no, I don't need any more blushes. Anyways, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when I post new videos. I'm scared to do highlighters. Highlighters the next one, and I'm sure that will be pretty crazy. Now, these declutter videos go up every Friday until I'm finished. And yeah, I've got eyeshadow palettes, cream eyeshadows. I've got so much left to go through, y'all. So yeah, keep on watching as I go through and regret all of my life decisions. But I guess that's it for today. We'll see y'all later. Bye.